This conference will now be recorded.
So good evening everyone, and we are in the course full stack Java real-time projects. We are discussing what we are in the course full stack Java real-time projects. And yesterday we have just done with the demo part where I discussed about the contents. Let me just overview this. So we are going to see full stack Java real-time projects course and what are the prerequisites to join this course. We should have idea on core Java. We should have idea on advanced Java like JDBC, servlets, and JSP. A basic idea of JSP is enough. And we should have idea on database concepts using MySQL or Oracle or any other database. You should know how to create tables, how to insert records, how to update the records, how to delete the records. So you should manage all the CRUD operations. And idea on web technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And a basic idea on Spring Framework, that too optional. However, I'm going to give a overview on Spring Framework in our course. And what is the course content? I've divided this course content in the form of modules. So in the module 1, where we discuss about introduction to real-time projects. And module 2, very important one, Spring Boot and Microservices. Module 3, we are going to see about Angular framework. What is the main use of Angular? To go with the front-end web application. So for front-end purpose, we are going to use Angular framework. And module 4, this is the very, very important one, real-time tools and DevOps tools. And module 5, Linux and AWS Cloud. And module 6, we are going to see too many projects. And module 7, we go with the major project. And what is our course name? I'm giving the course name as FSJRT. JRTP means Full Stack Java Real-Time Projects, and it's the first one in 2025 year. And the duration of our course goes with approximately 3 months. And the fee for this course is 6,000. And the class timings are Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST. And the class will go maximum 1 hour. And what are the class notes? Recordings are there. I'm going to upload these all notes in our Google Drive. And first initial 5 classes, I'll be uploading in our YouTube channel. And this is the Full Stack Java Real-Time Projects YouTube playlist. I'm providing this link to you once again in our chat window. So this is for playlist, first 5 classes I'll be adding in this playlist. And for the notes, you can make use of this Drive link. I'm sharing in the chat window of GoToMeeting. From there, you can copy and use it. Right? And yesterday, I've updated the notes. And you need to process the payment max by this Sunday, next Sunday, that is 30th July. And you can do the payment process to this Google Pay or PhonePe number 9949550291, or you can even transfer to this account. Okay, that. And once you have done the payment, please share the payment screenshot to my WhatsApp number, that is 93904-73579, or you can even mail to this rajtechonlinetrainings@gmail.com. This is my data to communicate. And once you have done the payment, and even share your details, your name and your WhatsApp number and your email ID, so that I can make a note and enroll, and so that I can start communicating with you regarding our classes. Right? So this is the thing what we have discussed in the last class. Any questions, anyone up to here? No. So moving to today's part, we are going to discuss about real-time tool. Yeah. Yes,
Hello.
Sucharita.
Yes, is there recording videos are available for these real-time projects?
Yeah. So first 5 classes I'll be uploading in YouTube channel. I said no, first 5 classes. After that, once the enrollment is done, I'll be sharing one Google Drive link where you can see all the recordings. It's lifetime access to you. Okay,
Lifetime?
lifetime access.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, right. So I'll be sharing separate drive link to you to the
Oh,
enrolled candidates. Okay,
okay, sure.
right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
So the notes, recordings, everything is lifetime access. Okay. Right.
One more thing, if I have
Yeah.
any doubts, whom I need to contact? Like while I'm
Myself only.
practicing the.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
even
okay.
ask in the class. Once you join the class every day, you can even ask
Uh-huh.
in the class, or you can even send a mail to me. You can even
Okay.
contact to this number or send a mail to me. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Mm.
So coming to today's one, we are going to discuss about real-time tools and DevOps tools overview. The first tool what we are going to learn here is Apache Maven tool. Apache Maven tool. The main use of going with this Apache Maven tool, or you can even make use of Gradle tool. Gradle, right? So the main use of going with this Maven tool or Gradle tool is like this. We call it as build automation tool. These are what build automation tool means. This tool is mainly used to create the projects. What is the use of this Maven tool or Gradle tool? Both are for same purpose, but they are from different companies. So what is the main use of this? It is mainly for what? To build, or it's a build automation tool. By using this tool, we can create the Java projects. And so what is the use of this build automation tool? Automates source code compilation. What are the source code we have created? We can compile that code automatically. It's for what? Automate source code compilation. And one more very important one, dependency management. Dependency management. So if you are having an idea on JDBC, in order to connect to MySQL database from JDBC or Oracle database, we need to add one jar file to the build path. Like if you are connecting to MySQL, we need to add MySQL connector Java jar file to the build path. Or if you are connecting to Oracle, we go with ojdbc.jar file and we need to add it to the build path. Since there is only one jar file, not a big issue. We can download it and add it to the build path. But coming to frameworks like Hibernate and Spring, we may require to add so many jar files. So in order to add that jar files into the project, that concept only we call dependency management. So the main use of going with Maven tool is to add the project dependencies into the project. This is the main use of going with Maven tool or Gradle tool. And one more use of going with this build tool is creating packages. Creating packages means creating the jar files or war files. Creating the jar files or war files. And one more use is by using this build tool, we can even executes the test cases. So what are the test cases we have created by using JNet tool? In order to execute the test cases also, we can make use of this Maven tool or Grad tool. So many people will use Maven tool. So in our course also, I'll be making use of Maven tool more for creating projects, and even I'll be even discussing about Gradle tool also in our course. Coming to the next one, Project Lombok tool. Project Lombok tool. The main need of going with Project Lombok tool is like when you are creating a Java bin class like public class employee. In this class employee, we go with the private properties like private int, employee id, private string, employee name, private int salary. So these are the properties, private properties, and we generate constructors, we go with constructors, we go with setter methods, we go with getter methods, and we go with toString method, right? So we go with what? toString method. So whenever you are creating the Java Bean classes like employee or student or customer, book, like that, in that we go with the private properties and we generate constructors, setters, getters, toString. So this is a repetitive job in every Java Bean class. So this repetitive job we call it as boilerplate code. This repetitive job we call it as what? Boilerplate code. So to avoid this boilerplate code, we can make use of this Lombok tool by using annotations like this. So when we use the annotation like no args constructor, no args constructor, all args constructor, then these constructors are not required. If I use setter, setter, getter, then these setters and getter methods are not required. When we use toString, then this toString method is not required. So just a plain class with private properties, that's it. And we can manage constructors, setters, getters, everything by using these annotations. So this is the main beauty of going with this Lombok tool. So what is the use of Lombok tool? It is a Java library tool. It is what? It's a Java library tool. And what is the main advantage? Reduces boilerplate code. Repetitive job only we call boilerplate code. Boilerplate code by automatically generating setters, getters, constructors, toString method, etc. by using the annotations. So we'll see once we go with the practical part, we'll see how to download Lombok tool and how to make use of Lombok tool in our projects. Clear up here? Any questions, anyone? Whatever I'm discussing today, it's like an overview. So every tool we are going to discuss in depth. Every tool will take something approximately 1 day. Some tools will be there where it takes something around 15 to 20 minutes only. Okay, right. Now, the next important tool is Postman tool. So the main need of going with Postman tool is it is used for API testing. So what is this API? Is like application programming interface. Like we create REST APIs. What we are going to do? We are going to create the REST APIs. So what is the main use of REST APIs? REST APIs are used for distributed applications. Application to application communication we generate by using REST APIs. So once we go with the Spring Boot, we'll be learning how to create REST APIs using Spring Boot. It's mainly for distributed. So the meaning of distributed is like, for example, we have created one Spring Boot application. If you're not having idea, don't worry at all. We are creating one Spring Boot application which is connecting to a database. And in this database, I want to get the employee records. We are returning the employee records. We are returning what? The employee records. So the Spring Boot application is connecting to database and getting the employee records. Now I want to display this employee records using Angular on browser. So what we are going to do? We are going to have what? A Angular application, and Angular application is mainly for what purpose? To go with the front end part. Angular is mainly for what? Front end part. So what Angular want to do? This Angular want to communicate to this Spring Boot application, get the list of employee records and display the data in what? In tabular format. I want to display the data in tabular format. So this is running in one server. This is running in one more server. Both are running in different locations, different servers, but they want to communicate. They want to communicate. So this communication we do by using what? REST APIs. So what we do by using Spring Boot, we create one REST API. We create what? One REST API. So but what REST API looks like URL. So we give that REST API to Angular. Angular will invoke that API and they can communicate. So this employee data will go to Angular and Angular will take care of doing the presentation part. So this type of applications only we call distributed applications, application to application communication that we manage by using REST APIs. So whatever the REST APIs you are creating by using Spring Boot, I want to test it, whether that API is working properly or not. To test that REST APIs only, we are going to make use of what? Postman tool, right? So what is the use of it? It is used for API testing. So it is used for testing the testing HTTP REST APIs. And what is the use of REST APIs? I have mentioned REST APIs is for what purpose? REST APIs are used for distributed applications, application to application communication. Application to application communication. That is the use of going for what? REST APIs. The next one is JUnit. JUnit tool. This JUnit tool is mainly for unit testing. It is used for unit testing. The meaning of unit testing is like whenever we create a class in Java, we go with some methods. So every method you can consider it as a unit. So before we submit the code to the testing team, we should check whether our code is correct or wrong. So when can we say your code is correct? Whatever the output you are expecting and whatever the output your method is returning, if both are same, that means our code is correct. So testing every method of a class is called as unit. So what is the main purpose of this? It is for unit testing, and what it is going to do? It validates the expected output with the actual output. So what is the meaning of actual output? The output what your method is returning to us, that we compare with our expected output. If our actual output and expected output are same, that means our test case is pass. So to write this unit testing in Java, we make use of this JUnit tool. The next important one, along with this JUnit, we make use of Mockito. The main use of going with this Mockito is like it is used in unit testing only. It is used in unit testing to create mock objects. Mock objects means a duplicate objects. It simplifies the process of isolating. This word is very important. It simplifies the process of isolating and testing individual components. Components of an application. What is this isolating is like? If you take an example, if you take a class like user. In this user, we are creating a method. Let me take like user DAO. So in this, we are creating a method like public string get username. Get username. So in order to get the username, we go with some database operations. And once we get the username, we go with some other logic here. Now, so here I want to test this method, get username method. I want to test whether you are getting that user or not. But whenever we run this method, it is going to even do the database operations. But I want to test this method without connecting to the database. So that process only we call isolating. Isolating means not connecting to database, but I want to test this method without connecting to the database. So for that, what we do, we create some dummy objects. By using the dummy objects, we are going to test our application. That process only we call isolating. So this concept we do by using what? A tool called as Mockito. So this we use along with JUnit 2. Right? Any questions, anyone? The next important one, Jira tool. Now, the main use of going with Jira tool is like it is used in agile development of a software project. The meaning of agile development is like in the olden days we are having something like waterfall model. Waterfall model is like first we go with the requirement analysis, we gather the requirements, we do the analysis, then we go with the design. We go with what? Design. After completion of design, we go with coding. After completion of coding, we go with the testing. Then after testing, we are going to deploy the project, deployment. Then finally, we go with maintenance. Go with what? Maintenance. Means it's like order. So once the requirement analysis is done, we go with the design. Then after design, we go with coding. So when the coding is happening, we cannot change the requirements again. We cannot go back to the previous phases. That's the problem with the waterfall model. So whereas in this agile development, what we do in the case of agile development, we go with the requirement. We take one requirement and we analyze the requirement. Then we do the design. We do the coding. We do for test. Again, that will get repeated here. So we take one requirement and we do the requirement analysis, we design, we code, and we test it. Again, we take one requirement, we do the analysis, design, coding, and test. Like that, we continue, keep on repeating. Such type of development only we call agile development. So in this Jira tool, we can assign the task to the developers. Like when you are working with the project, we have to get the requirements. So we give one requirement to the developer. That one requirement we call it as a story. So we assign the stories to the respective developers here. So that analysis part, the division of work of your software project to the respective developers, that we manage by using Jira tool. It's a project management tool. So you can select using, it is used to assign the task to the developers. It is used as a project management. It is used as what? Project management and issue tracking tool. Bug tracking tool. Right? This is also very important tool for us. So when we are working with the projects, I'll be showing you. I'll be dividing the work. What are the, when you take the project, we divide that project in the form of requirements. We analyze the requirements and we have to do the database design. We have to do the coding, like how to divide the task between the developers. That I'm going to show you practically when we are going with the projects also. Initially I'll discuss Jira too, and along with that, when you are going with the projects also, I'll be showing how to use the tool also. The next important one, GitHub and Bitbucket. So both are for repositories, used to store our code in the cloud repository. Now, so what is the need of this GitHub and Bitbucket is like when you are working on a project, when you go with a project is developed by so many developers. When you take this project, a project is developed by team member 1, it is developed by team member 2, team member 3, like that we are having some developers. So let us suppose in our project we are having totally 10 developers. So whatever the code these team members are doing, that code should be placed at one common location. That common location, wherever we keep the code at one common location, that only we call it as repository. That only we call it as what? Repository. So that all the developers can able to see the code, modify the code, okay, and they can even do the changes, they can merge, they can collaborate the code like that. So this we can manage by using this repository tools, GitHub and Bitbucket. So what is the use of this? It is used to store the code in the cloud repository so that every developer can access the code. It allows to create, store, change, merge and collaborate. Collaborate means the code we have to collaborate with other developers. Collaborate the code during project development. So this is also very, very important. So whatever the code I'm going to show by using when we start off with the Spring Boot, everything. So I'm going to keep that code in the repository and I'm going to give the GitHub URL to you so that you can access the code from that GitHub URL, right? So it will become like everyday practice for us using how to use this GitHub. Everyday practice we are going to do. Whenever we write the code, whenever we create projects, any changes to the project, a new programs I'm showing, everything we are going to update in the GitHub repository. Both are for the same purpose, but they are from different companies. This GitHub is from subsidiary of Microsoft and Bitbucket is from Atlassian. Even Jira is also from Atlassian. The next one, log forging and SLF forging. So this is for generating the log messages. Generating what? Log messages. So when you are working in the project, we have to do the log messages. Like for example, when you go with the login application, due to some reasons, if the login is not happening, if the user is unable to log in, so we have to generate the error messages. That error messages will be storing what is the main issue, why the application is not running. That details will be storing in a log file. So in order to generate that log messages only, we make use of this log4j and SLF4j. You can select. It is a software library tool used to generate log messages. Right? Log messages within software and can communicate with other services. On a system. And we are in this SLF4j. What is this SLF4j? Is simple logging packet. Is a logging API. This is what it's a API only. SLF4j is what? It's a API library. It's a library that provides a standard interface for various Java logging frameworks. So what are the logging frameworks we're having? Like Log4j, and we are having one more like Logback also. Right? So this SLF4j is like a API only. It's a logging API which is going to provide the standard interfaces for us for various logging frameworks like Log4j, and we are having one more like Logback. The next one, ELK. So what is this ELK? Is like Elasticsearch Logstack and Kibana. This is the expansion of ELK, and the main use of going with this ELK is to monitor the log messages. So Log4j is for generating the log messages. In order to monitor that log messages, we are going to make use of ELK. The next one, putting and WinSCP. The use of this putty and WinSCP is like to access the remote servers. Use it to access the remote servers and manage servers. Use it for file transfers. It's mainly used for what? File transfers from your local system to remote system. In order to transfer the files, we use this putty and WinSCP. Use it for file transfers between the client local computer and local computer to remote server. So the communication between your client machine and remote machine, to transfer the data, we make use of this putty and WinSCP. The next important one, JMeter. It is from Apache, JMeter. The main use of going with JMeter is, what are the project we have developed, what are the application we have developed, we want to test the performance, and we want to even test the load also. So for how many users the application can run. So when you take the project, when you create application, the application may be accessed by 10 users or 100 users or 1000 users or 1 lakh users. So whether our application can able to perform properly when the users are increasing. So to do the testing, we make use of what? JMeter. So what is the use of this? Use it for performance. Use it for performance and load testing. To check responsiveness, to check the responses of the application. Whether the application can able to manage multiple users, how many users it can able to manage, how fast the response is coming. To this performance and load testing, we can make use of this JMeter. It is from Apache company. The next one is Jacoco. Jacoco is Java code coverage. So what is the use of going with this Java code coverage? Is Jacoco is, it is used to measure the coverage of unit testing. And integration testing. integration testing. Whatever the code we have written, whether the code is tested properly or not, whether the unit testing has done properly or not, how much percentage of unit testing has covered, that coverage we can analyze, we can measure by using this Jacob tool. The next one, Docker. It's a DevOps tool, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, SonarQube, and this one like Jira. These all things, GitHub. Okay, these all things comes under as DevOps tools. The main use of going with this Docker is like it is used to automate the deployment, scaling, and management of applications. Management of applications by packaging them into standardized units. Standardized units called as containers. So whatever the code we are writing, whatever the code we develop, when you are doing the deployment process, we want to test whether that deployment is working on different environments. So we may deploy our application on Mac OS, we may deploy our application on Linux, we may deploy our application on Windows. So these are all different environments, and we may go with the different softwares, different JVMs, right? Different libraries we may be using. So that automation, that deployment automation process we do by using Docker. So what it can do? Containers. What are the containers we create? Containers include everything. Containers include everything, and application needs to run. Like what container contains? Like the code. What are the containers we are creating? Once you create this container by using Docker, I can use it on any environment. And what container contains? It contains the code. It contains what? Code, runtime system, that is your JVM, runtime. That means your Java software, if it is related to Java, system tools, and libraries. So once we create a container using Docker, I can just use that container on any environment. Okay, so what container contains? Your complete code will be there, your softwares will be there, your systems tools will be there, and libraries will be there. So that we can use it on any environment. So what is the main use? One more. It ensures consistency across different environments. Different environments means different operating systems. Any questions, anyone up to here? So just I'm giving overview only. Once we go to the respective tool, we'll be elaborating how to use the tool, what commands are required, everything we are going to discuss in depth of every tool. Next one, Kubernetes. The main use of going with this Kubernetes is handles the complexities. Of deploying, managing, and scaling. Scaling means when the users are increasing, we have to increase our application. The application should be accessed by multiple users. That is called as scaling containers. So who has created that containers? Created by Docker. So what are the containers created by Docker? So to handle the complexities of deploying, managing, and scaling the containers created by Docker, we make use of this one, Kubernetes. Next one, Jenkins. Jenkins. The use of going with Jenkins is it is used to automate. It is used to automate the process of building, testing, and deploying the code. It is used for what? To automate the process of building, testing, and deploying the code. Jenkins is an open source. It's an open source continuous integration. Continuous integration means once we create the application, so we may do some update. That is which we call maintenance. So it should automatically integrate. It should automatically integrate and it should automatically deploy. So we need not stop the server again. We need not restart the server like that. That should happen automatically. So for this continuous integration, which we call it as CI or continuous delivery. Continuous delivery, which we call CD. So to manage this CI/CD only, we make use of Jenkins. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, and deployment automation software. Automation software DevOps tool. It's a DevOps tool. So this Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, all these are DevOps tools. Okay. One more, SonarQube. SonarQube. So it's for code quality. It's for what? Code quality. Whatever the code we are writing, to test the quality of your code, whether you are using proper exception handling or not, whether you are using proper collection classes or not, whether you are using the proper classes like string class or string buffer or string builder. So which class is better for your code, whether to go with string buffer or string builder. Such type of analysis it's going to provide by using this SonarQube. So you can say SonarQube is a code quality assurance tool. It's a code quality assurance tool. So what it's going to do, collects and analyzes source codes, collects and analyzes source codes and provides, and it's going to provide the reports for the code quality, of the project, right? Next one, Apache Kafka. This we go like a message broker. This is for message broker. So it's mainly used for microservices communication. It's mainly used in what? Microservice communication. What is this Kafka? Used to build real-time streaming data. Real-time streaming data pipelines and applications that adapt to the data. So where we use this Kafka is like, so it's mainly used for so we'll be having this APIs, right? This apps, we are having apps like cab booking apps like Uber, Rapido, Ola, like that. So the messages what we see in between, like it's going to arrive in 5 minutes. What are the messages the driver is keeping, like I'll be reach it, like I'll be coming in 5 minutes. These all things we need not store in the databases because these are all temporary data, which is not required to be stored in the databases. So this communication, these messages, we can manage by using what? Apache Kafka. Next one, Redis cache. Redis cache. So this Redis means remote dictionary server. Remote dictionary server. So what is the main use of going with Redis is like Redis cache is like use it to improve application performance. Use it for what? To improve application performance and scalability by storing frequently accessed data. So accessed data query slower data sources like databases. Like what? Databases. And this is used mainly to access static data. It's mainly for what? To access static data. Like examples, the meaning of static data is like country names, state names, like this. See here, when you are going with a query, select star from country. To our application, for example, I want to register a user. We want to register a user. So when you want to register a user, what we ask? We are going to ask for the name. We ask for the name. Okay. We ask for the address. We ask for the state. We ask for the state. We ask for the country, like that. So this state, country details are what? Static. That will remain same for all the users. So if so many users, if user 1 is registering, if user 2 is registering, if user 3 is registering, for all this, these states and countries will be common. These are that data only we call static data. So whenever we say select star from country, if every user is, if whenever the user want to register, whenever you want to get the country names, whenever we say select star from country, every time it is going to hit the database. It's going to hit what? Database. And the database calls will be costly operation. Means it takes a lot of time in order to connect to database, retrieve the data and use the data. So it is a costly operation. So this static data we can manage by using this Redis cache. Okay, which is going to increase our application performance. So what are the queries we have done before? What are the data we are getting from this state or country that will be placed in a cache memory? And whenever we go with the same query, it's going to take the data from the cache memory. So in that way, the application performance can be increased here. Right? This is also one more very, very important tool for us. Okay. Next one, Swagger. The use of going with Swagger is like it is used for designing, building, documenting, and consuming REST APIs. So what are the REST APIs we are creating? If you want to design, build, and document that REST APIs, it's for API documentation. This Swagger mainly used for API documentation. It is used for API documentation. The next one is Nexus. The last one, Nexus. It is a artifactory server. It is what? It's a artifactory server. It is a artifactory repository. Repository manager. So whenever you want to create your own artifactories to manage that artifactory repository, we make use of this Nexus tool. It allows, what it is going to do? It allows to store, distribute, and retrieve build artifacts whenever it is required. We will be understanding more on this. So it's something related to your Maven tool also. So once we understand this Maven, we'll be understanding about Artifactory, all those things. Okay. So once we come to this topic Nexus, how to manage these artifactories, we are going to make use by using Nexus tool. Right. So these are the tools what we'll be covering in our course. So what are the tools? Very, very important one. And nothing like that. I'll be covering all the tools in one go. Okay. So based on the requirement, wherever we are going to use in the project, before that, I'm going to discuss about that. Right. So what are the important tools here? Maven and Gradle, Project Lombok tool, Postman tool, JUnit tool, Mockito, which is used along with JUnit, Jira tool for project management, GitHub and Bitbucket for repositories, Log4j, SLF4j to generate log messages, ELK to monitor the log messages, Putty and WinACP to access our remote servers, JMeter for performance and load testing, Jacoco, it's a code coverage done in the unit testing, Docker for containerization, Kubernetes to handle the complexities, deploying, managing, and scaling the containers created by Docker. Jenkins, it's mainly for continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD. SonarQube, it's for code quality assurance. Apache Kafka, it's a message broker. Redis Cache, it's to increase the performance of our application by storing data in cache memory. Swagger, it's for API documentation, and Nexus, it's a Artifactory server. So these all tools are very, very important to us, right? Then in tomorrow's class, we'll be going with the module 1. It's a very, very simple module. Like we'll be understanding about introduction to real-time projects. Like what are the different types of software projects we're having, the different types of software companies, the different types of software jobs, the different types of teams while developing the software projects. So these all things we'll be discussing in tomorrow's class. And day after tomorrow, the 4th class, I'll be starting off with Maven tool. I'll be going with Maven tool. So in these free classes, I'll be covering this Maven tool, and even I'm going to cover GitHub. So Thursday, Maven tool. 5th class, Friday, I'm going to discuss about GitHub. Then next week onwards, we are going to enter into our regular class, where we are going to start off with Spring Boot and microservices. Right? So any questions before I close? Right? So request to process the payment maximum by this Sunday. Okay. Right. In the drive link, you can even find these all details. In this drive link, even have shared the details how to do the payment process. So thank you all. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow with real-time projects introduction. Thank you.